Andy, have you laid out on that bed yet and just jacked your dick?
God damn it, Will. We just fucking started, and now I gotta stop and start it all over again. It's not funny either, because we've been doing this shit for like 3 hours. It's on YouTube. We're live right now, too.
Just leave.
Hey, welcome to NFL. No, we don't want to get sued. So, Draft Bust, episode 20. Last week we went over and talked about teams 20 through 16 and just went over our power rankings, and this week we're going to go over 15 through 11. So we're doing a couple different things. Tonight we are live on YouTube doing this little podcast, and of course we're going to record it. Soon we'll be on iTunes. We went in approval for review. We do have a cool website called ffdraftbust.com. I don't know if my two co-hosts, Wilson and Nick, have anything to add. Both have a little smirks on their face.
I'm good, man.
I just get to see your glorious face today.
So we're trying this whole go live thing on YouTube out. We'll see what happens. So, nonetheless, we'll go through and we'll talk about we'll just start it out and say what our 11 through 15 is. And then we definitely have a couple teams we're going to hit and talk about. And I'll kick it off with mine is number 15, I have the Falcons. 14, I have the Jets. 13, I have the Skins. Raiders are 12. And the Houston Texans are number 11. Nick, what do you got?
I got the Cowboys at number 15, the Jacksonville Jaguars at number 14, the Washington Redskins at 13, the Oakland Raiders at number 12, and the Houston Texans at 11.
Wilson?
All right, I have Buffalo Bills at 15, Washington Redskins at 14, Oakland is at 13, Houston Texans at 12, and Minnesota Vikings at 11.
So I definitely know, going through that list, Nick mentioned his 50 burger team right there at number 14. And then we have three really common themes. We got the Texans, the Raiders, and the Skins.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm agreeing with you that much.
I don't know. It's a little scary. And I actually feel kind of bad. I kind of feel bad that I have the Raiders so high.
Why?
I don't know, because Wilson, you had them at 13.
Well, Nick has them at 12, doesn't he?
Yeah, but you're the biggest homer I ever saw.
I know, but I'm also realistic, so.
So, let's just talk about the Skins. So the Skins last year made it in the playoffs. Nick, you and I have them at 13. Wilson, you have them at 14.
Yep.
Nick, why don't you just tell us, before Wilson gets off on Kirk Cousins, Nick, why do you have him here at number 13?
I'll already start it because of Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really like them. They got Josh Doctson to add some depth to the wide receiver because Deshaun Jackson's old. He didn't do shit last year. Reed is a top 5 tight end. So they got a lot of good things going for them. They're playing in the shitty NFC East. So that's good. Their strength of schedule is about middle of the road at 17. I think their big question mark is kind of their defense and their running game. So
yeah, I really think that their NFC East division kind of sets them up again for a playoff run. Kirk Cousins again is a big piece of that offense. Them getting a wide receiver like Josh Doctson is really good. I want to point out and say their defense is bad, but the reason they're here for me is I think of the top 16 power rankings, it's 16 teams that can make the playoffs, and I don't think they're 16, 15, or 14. So I think their offense is going to make a little leap this year. They did add a few defensive players. They got what was his name? Yeah, Josh Norman, and then they also got Burton from the Broncos to kind of get some safeties in there and fill a void. Now I'm going to turn over to Wilson to talk about Kirk Cousins.
I'm not really going to say that much about Kirk Cousins. Like he's he's really good. You know, I'm really high on him, but he has Jordan Reed. Deshaun struggles with consistently over the past few years. But the big thing is that they signed Josh Norman. They kind of addressed that defense. They need to focus on their run defense. That killed them last year. So I think that offensively, the pass game, I think they'll be okay. Like Nick was saying, they added Doxson. Deshaun, maybe he'll have a reemergence. I doubt it, though. I don't know what he's doing. Yeah. But he's got Jordan Reed, who's you're saying top 5. You could make a case for him top 3, dude. He was like that entire, passing offense last year. Wasn't he like their number 1 receiver last year?
Oh yeah, he's great. I mean, he's their Gronk.
Yeah, and so the only thing.
The big concern with him is him being healthy.
Yeah, it has been in the past. Last year we got to see a lot more of him. And he broke 1,000 yards, didn't he? If not, he was like super close. I can't remember the number off the top of my head, but I think he's going to be great. I think Doxson was a good pickup. It's just the run defense and their rushing offense is what they're going to have to figure out, because now it's Matt Jones. Alfred Morris left. He went to Dallas. And so Matt Jones, he's fast, but I don't know, didn't he struggle with fumbles last year? He had a fumbling issue, I believe.
Yeah, he fumbled a lot. Jordan Reed was 48 yards short of 1,000.
Yeah, he was like right there.
Had 11 touchdowns.
Yeah, he was really effective in the passing game last year, but we'll have to see what happens going forward with him. But I think high hopes.
A big pick that I like them getting in the draft this year is Keith Marshall. So might see a lot come from him. Who really knows, though? Last year, I thought their backfield was way too deep for the type of team they were.
Yeah, they just couldn't get anything going on in the run game.
So, that's the biggest thing on the. I think they live or die with Kirk Cousins at the.
Yep. Yes.
They added that defense a bit. So we're moving up. Wilson, you got him at 13. Nick, we both have him at 12. We got the Oakland Raiders. Honestly, it hurts me to put them up here, but they really did well last year. Their offense was still middle of the road as far as stats go, but I think the potential out of Carr really shows. And their biggest weakness last year was on the passing defense and points allowed on the defense, and they kind of trimmed that up a little bit by getting one of the best safeties, the best safety in the draft by far, Carl Joseph, and then getting a few things to show up their defensive line, and then they signed Nelson from the Bengals to kind of help in that secondary. So I don't think they will win the AFC West. I do believe they'll come in second. And
to who?
The Broncos, of course.
Okay.
Because they have that division right now. But the big thing, they're making big strides. I think Derek Carr has been the missing piece of that team, because now it's a quarterback they can trust to make the right decisions, not make dumb ones, and actually came there to play and win, unlike Carson Palmer or many quarterbacks before them.
I could whip out like a whole scroll of quarterbacks that fell for the Oakland Raiders over the last decade. So I do agree with you on that. The only thing is that the latter half of the season, that offense struggled like real bad. Like Carr struggled. I don't know if it was because Amari got hurt or what, but they really struggled. Latavius barely broke 1,000. I mean, like he got 1,000 yards rushing, which is an accomplishment in the NFL, but he just had some games where, he just disappeared. Like the run game just disappeared. But like you were saying, they kind of added some pieces. They added Osamele to the offensive line, Sean Smith, Reggie Nelson, Bruce Irvin. And so I think that they added some pieces that will help them on paper, at least. That should help them. So.
Yeah. As a Raider fans, it still scares me to put them this high. So
Yeah.
we still haven't talked about the Broncos or Chiefs.
Yeah.
But they're right there. They could definitely be fighting for a wild card team.
I
The
think
whole big thing for me
sorry.
is Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Like I don't trust him yet. Like we saw games last year where you're like, this dude's awesome, and then you're like, what the hell are you doing?
Like in that
So-
Broncos game, like that first half, didn't they have negative offensive yards or something
Yeah,
like
they had,
that?
like, negative-
granted, it was the Broncos defense they were going up against, but still, you're an NFL team, you're an NFL offense. You should be able to get just move the ball.
But to caveat that, Wilson, I mean, look at what happened in the second half. Like, he came back. That team came back, did much better, and the Broncos didn't score a single offensive touchdown.
Right. I mean, Khalil
Both
Mack.
times. Both times.
Both games. But Khalil Mack, hands down, changed that game by himself. Like,
Yeah.
Because he was
I mean,
going up
now-
against a child.
Well, now he's got Bruce Irving's on the opposite end. So
Yeah.
that defense is just going to get so much better because I think the most underrated signing we had was Sean Smith in that second.
yeah, I do too.
Like,
He's not a big
that
name.
was
just solid.
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because with that pass rush, our secondary is going to get that much better. It's just now more or less
Was
our linebackers suck.
was Alden Smith in that game where Khalil Mack destroyed Brock?
No, he was suspended
wasn't?
by then, I
Okay.
believe.
I didn't know if he
Yeah.
was still there or not. To
Well,
be
that's
honest.
like-
that's another
game,
piece to
yeah.
talk about. That's another piece to talk about. Alden Smith coming back. There's no way that if he stays out of trouble that he doesn't get back in the NFL in November. So, I mean, think about it. He's still young. He's entering the prime of his career. Alden Smith, when he was with San Fran before he got in all this trouble, was just a beast. So, I mean, teams are going to be having to deal with Khalil Mack, Alden Smith, Bruce Irvin, and all those other Mario Edwards, and Dan Williams, all those other rookies they drafted this year that they have high hopes for. It's going to be scary if they play like they should.
And even still, like Amari Cooper, I don't think had a good rookie year, but he didn't have the rookie year that everybody thought he was going to have. That's when Crab Stamp kind of came up and showed. We all have a joke. He's called Crab Stamp. Came up and like showed that he could be the number one option on a team as far as the red zone goes because Amari missed a lot of those opportunities. So
Well,
I think
Amari
Derek Carr
struggled with drops a lot last year. That didn't help him at all. And like kind of at the end of the season, he was struggling with some kind of foot or ankle injury or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think that he is a true number one. He broke 1,000 yards for us last year. We haven't had that in forever. That's just phenomenal. But I think that he's a true number one. Crabtree's a good number two. He's like a very solid number two.
Oh yeah, he's arguably one of the best number twos.
Yeah.
I mean, you can put him in the top 10 number two wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
He's like Eric Decker.
Yeah.
Eric Decker is a number two, awesome.
you talking about Crabtree is?
Yeah.
He's just comparing him to Decker.
Yeah. So of the I'm just looking and people that had the most drops, Amari Cooper was third with 10 drops, which was about 7% of his catches or thrown at type plays. So if you look at the drop percentage for how many times he was thrown at, it's not that bad. But you look at how many drops, it is bad. However, he's up there with Mike Evans, Ted Ginn Jr., which
That's
has
nothing.
has no hands whatsoever. But you have Brandon Marshall, Martavius Bryant, and Demaryius Thomas up there, and then number 7 is Michael Crabtree. Michael Crabtree only had 8. He had 8 drops, so only 2 less.
I will say
Yeah,
this. Continue, Nick. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I think that offense has a lot of high hopes. And I just think this is, like we talked about with Ryan Tannehill, this is Derek Carr's make or break year. Like, he can break out to be a top 10 quarterback or fall back in the middle of the field like Tony Romo.
I don't think it's a make or break year for Derek Carr because I just don't. I mean, even if he has an average year this year, they're not going to cut him. They're going to keep him. Like, he has promise. It just takes a little bit to get there.
They're going to sign him to a monster deal, just like Miami did Tannehill because they'd rather have a middle of the road quarterback
But I
than
feel
have
that.
to go through that whole quarterback carousel.
But I feel that at this point, though, Carr was so much better than Tannehill was at that point in his career. And I mean, like, when you look at it, I feel like Miami had a lot more pieces when Tannehill was, in his second year, whereas, like, his first or second year, whereas Carr, he finally got a good number one wide receiver. He wasn't having to throw to Rod Streeter and Andre Holmes and an old Jones.
It's one of those things. If you look at these top 15 teams, we still got 10 to go.
Mm-hmm.
What do they all have in common? They have a great quarterback. What's the worst quarterback in the top 15? Teddy Bridgewater?
Mark
Sanchez.
Well, is it going to be Sanchez, though?
Right now it is, and if it's not Sanchez, they said it's going to be Trevor Simon.
Oh, they're just trying to get Sanchez.
I know. I don't think Paxton's going to start the first game. I really don't. But I do think Paxton starts before the year's up.
Think so?
But, Nick, very much to your point, in the top 10, who's the worst quarterbacks? Right now it's going to be whoever the Broncos start in Kansas City or Teddy Bridge.
Yeah,
those are your worst ones.
Also put any one of these five that we're talking about today in that group. It's such a quarterback-driven league, and if you have a decent quarterback, you're going to sign him.
It's true. I think the only one where I would say maybe not so much is the Jags. You have them at 14. I have them a little bit higher up. I think Blake Bortles. I like Bortles. Is a little bit better than the five we're talking about. And I'm not saying he's leaps and bounds better than Derek Carr or Kirk Cousins, but I do think he is definitely more rounded at the moment.
You're the one that had him last week, not me.
I know, but I'm just saying.
It's not my fault. Denard Robinson can't catch.
I know. My thing. The reason I have them last week is because they're the Jags, and something about it just says they're always going to be the Jags.
It's just that stigma. It's the same with the Raiders. I have to see it before I believe it, kind of. I mean, like, I have them lower than you do. So, I mean.
I don't. I have them right there. They're going to be on that bubble of a wild card team again this year.
It is all down to Derek Carr. That is it this season. This season. It is all down to what he does. Because, like I said, at the end of last year, he just played like ass. And, like, I don't know if it was him or their offensive line or Amari getting hurt, but like, they just couldn't figure it out offensively. So it's coming down to him this year.
Maybe so. And I don't watch that many Raiders games. I just see overall stats because I don't really want to watch it. I'll watch 2 a year, and that's enough. So, but I think the big one, and this is one I actually have high hopes on, mainly because I like the quarterback. I thought he got done wrong in a way, and I don't blame him for leaving. So the Houston Texans, I have at 11. Nick has 11. Wilson, you got him at 12, just a hair lower. Nick, why don't you tell me why you have him up here?
I really think Dan O'Brien's going to make Brock shine. Dan O'Brien's a great quarterback coach. That wide receiver core is phenomenal. I mean, when you got DeAndre Hopkins, Fuller, and Jalen Strong, great. That defense, though, I mean, it's anchored by J.J. Watt and Crushing in the middle.
But he struggles
with
Brian all the time,
and steroids. But that offense, I mean, what's holding it back? I mean, they have a good running back. They got a decent quarterback, great wide receivers.
I think in the past,
the
quarterbacks.
AFC South is going to come down to them and the Jags, without a doubt.
Right, I agree with that statement.
No, that's very much true. And I think this is the last AFC South team I have because the Jags I had at 17. The Colts had at 26 and the Titans at 31. It's weird saying the Colts at 26 because they've been up there so long. Nick, you left off one guy that I think is really good on defense. I mean, they got Vince Wilfork now, and then Bedardrick McKinnon, who in IDP leagues I think is a really good catch. He gets a lot of tackles. He's just open there because whatever gets past J.J. Watt goes there. They don't have bad DBs. And I say this to point out is that last year on defense, they were third in yards, third in pass, Hampton Rush. So they had a defense last year. They didn't have a quarterback that could get them anywhere because they were 18th and further back as far as offensive goes. Biggest thing they had, like you said, they drafted Will Fuller. They have Jalen Strong. Then also, I mean, they still have Cecil Shorts back there. I didn't say Johnny Hopkins because that's, I mean, he's just a top wide receiver now, most certainly. He proved that last year. And then of course, you know, they added Brock. That is the quarterback they got now. Did they draft a guy too? No, they didn't draft anybody. But their
Who
offense,
did they draft in the second round?
Nick
I'm
Martin.
pretty sure they drafted the center from Notre Dame.
I think it is. It's not a center; he's a guard. And yes, the guard from Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So
that's huge because I know their offensive line was kind of hot garbage last year too.
Yeah.
So I mean, they had that little bit of depth. It's just the pieces are coming together. Their defense was there last year, and now they upgraded their quarterback and have. It's going to make it stable. It's going to be a stable quarterback, and then I think they really upgraded the running back to somebody that can stay a little bit healthy.
Yeah, Arian Foster did not stay healthy whatsoever. Is he even on a team yet?
No, he hasn't signed yet. The biggest thing for me with the Texans is Osweiler. I mean, we haven't seen him over a whole season. He only got to play a little, like what 6-7 games, Andy? What was it? 7?
8.
7.
8, 7, 8. Yeah.
He got pulled out of it.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll have to see him over a whole season going through the ups and downs and stuff like that. So what he can do. It doesn't hurt having DeAndre catching passes though. So, I mean, that'll help him out, but he doesn't have that Denver defense no more. I mean, Houston's defense is good, but they're nowhere near that Broncos defense was last year.
No, I think the only difference is his offensive line is upgraded.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Do they play each other this year?
I hope, but I don't think so.
I hope they do too.
We play them. Oakland plays them.
No, they play the whole AFC South, don't they?
You mean AFC West?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, AFC South. I'm talking about the AFC West plays the whole AFC South.
Sorry.
Saying
they played that last year. They're playing the same.
I believe so because we play the Titans as well. And the Jags.
It's that one you play
the Broncos play the Titans also.
I hope they do. I hope that's a primetime game.
It would be really cool if it was.
Anyway, why hasn't anybody brought up how big of a bust Jadeveon Clowney is on this? I want to throw some shade on Jadeveon Clowney since everybody wanted to talk him up instead of Khalil Mack. Remember we were sitting at Andy's watching that draft, and I was like, if the Raiders would have taken Jadeveon Clowney right there with that pick, John Gruden would have turned his nose up and talk so much crap or whatever. It didn't matter who we would have taken.
So, I don't know why he's still starting, to be honest. I really don't.
I don't know. He's garbage, man.
Hey, it is Monday Night Football.
Healthy.
Monday Night Football, October 24th. The Houston Texans at the Denver Broncos.
No, of course they're going to make that a primetime game.
Oh yeah,
that's going to be a good game.
Yeah, we're going to beat that ass in Mexico.
Yeah, don't you guys play the Texans in Mexico? Don't you?
Yeah, on Thursday.
Mexico City.
Yeah, Thursday night game. Is that late season or early season?
I think it's
November. It's in November.
Yeah.
I know that.
It's Estadio Azteca, stadium name.
I think we play that and then a Sunday night game or a Monday night game. We actually have a couple of primetime games.
We have 3 primetimes. We have a Sunday, Monday, and Thursday this year.
Yeah, which is shocking.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, I think this week was the week that we've agreed the most as far as our rankings go. I do want to say, Wilson, you got the old Vikings down here at number 11. Why is that?
Well, I mean, like, I don't like Bridgewater. I really don't. I mean, you all are high on him, but I mean, I guess you can make a case to put him in the top 10. Just for me, I couldn't. Last year, their passing game was terrible. They were, let me look at my notes here.
Who do you have to throw to?
31st. I mean, that's the thing is that, I mean, they did add Treadwell. I think that was a steal for him to fall that far. To me, Treadwell could have been taken anywhere in like the top 10 to 15. But just because he had a terrible 40 time, he fell that far, and I don't think that's fair because he's big, physical. He'll go up and get it. So I mean that'll help him out. Hope they hope anyway it'll help him out. But I mean last year they were 31st in the league with passing. When I watched Bridgewater last year, granted I didn't watch them a lot, but when I did watch him last year, it just seemed like he struggled in it, and it was because he had no receivers to get open, and that offensive line was not that great for pass protection. Granted, they have AP back there, so he's going to turn out some yards, but they just could not get any pass protection for Bridgewater. So I don't know. They had a good draft, though. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
And because they did well last season with what they had, and like I said, they drafted well, I'm going to put them at 11.
Yeah, and I think the big thing is their defense was around 10th or right around there on most things. Treadwell is the biggest thing they added. They have yet to get Teddy Bridgewater, a receiver that can catch a pass, and I think that's what Treadwell's going to be. They also drafted that dude from Germany that had that crazy story.
Yeah, Moritz Boringer.
Yeah, something like that. So I don't know what they're going to do with him, but I'm very interested to see. They did add Mackenzie Alexander, which I think is a good thing to add for their safety, or their DB wise. Unfortunately, AP's getting old. I don't know what they're going to do. They can't really ride the bell cow as much as they have in the past. So I see your point, Wilson. I only have them one step higher.
They're going to have to address that in the next draft or after that. I mean, like last year, he churned out great yards. He was still
he took a year off, so. But I think I have him at 10, so I don't have him that much higher. And again, that's for next week as far as mine goes. But I think adding Treadwell is the best thing they could do.
Yeah. So their wide receiver core now is Treadwell, Stephon Diggs, Cordero Patterson. Like, that's great. And once I think they move in their new as a bust as a number one, if you put him in the slot, he's going to tear it up like he did the first year.
He's going to stretch the field. That's what he's going to do.
He's good at returning. I'll give him that hands down. Like he's phenomenal at returning kicks.
I just think they have 2 more years with AP that they got to get something done.
I really think they can do something with Jerick McKinnon back there, but he is not he's going to be a specialty back, like third down, catching passes out of the backfield, not that every down plow through the middle of the line guy. And I don't know who's coming out next year, but I don't know of a guy that can replace AP.
Leonard Fournette.
Maybe that is true. So I mean, that may be the one person.
McCaffrey. I think he'll go to slot though. I think he'll be like a great slot guy in the NFL.
I don't think I don't think he's going to be a starting running back in the NFL. I don't think he will be.
Can you imagine him in New England? What they would do with him?
He better be a Bronco. No matter where he goes, I'm going to buy a jersey. So
you better hope that the Broncos tank out because next year he's going to go high.
They'll trade for that top pick. Yeah, I think he'll probably. I think he'll go top 15 for certain. I feel like top 15 for certain, but who really knows?
Yeah, I don't know, but I know Fournette. Then there's one other decent running back this year. So.
Yeah, I'm not certain either. But this week, guys, it was pretty quick. I mean, we all agreed on a lot of the picks as far as the Texans, the Raiders, the Skins. They're all right there. Again, we're getting the playoff teams. I think we're going to have definitely more debate on 10 through 1 than we have in the past. I definitely think the top 5 we're going to have a lot of debate about. Like I said earlier, we went live on YouTube, so make sure and catch the video there if you want to. I know we haven't had anybody comment on it, but no one really knows that we're out there. And then make sure and check out ffdraftbus.com, our website. That's where we're going to start posting some of the podcasts, so the actual audio files. I'll still do them on SoundCloud for a little while. And make sure and check us out on iTunes. We did submit to get approved, so hopefully you can download them through the iTunes. If my 2 co-hosts have anything to add.
I'm just tired.
Nick is drinking Wiseacre.
Oh, yeah. I bounced back from the IPA from the coffee stout, but chose the IPA. Good choice.
Yeah. So
Shout
That's-
sponsorship.
waiting on it, guys. Something, anybody. We don't want much. Maybe a 6-pack of beer.
I'm
But,
just gonna keep buying and shooting out tweets. Just sponsorship.
We
Sponsorship.
haven't went to
sponsorship.
Natty Ice, any of the ice products. We haven't went that low. So
Leave it to Trevor Zachary Wilson to bring it down a notch.
hey, man, I haven't hit malt liquor yet.
You're not at Colt 45 level just yet.
Not yet. We're not hurting that
Is
bad.
anything? Any other news in the NFL this week?
What about
Other-
PED?
Yeah,
stuff?
PED
What
stuff
about,
is it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I saw Harrison said that Roger Goodell better come to his house if he wants to talk about it.
yeah, something like that. In Al Jazeera or something. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole Peyton Manning thing. But that's it, guys. Check us out on Twitter at FF Draft Bust. We're playing some crazy gifs and memes here lately. And make sure to go to the website ffdraftbust.com and check us out on YouTube. Till next week.